Conversations with Good Brothers talk show. My name is Shawn Francis-Coleman, and this is...
Hey, how you doing? This is Darnell. What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone's doing well.
Awesome. Yes, I do too, man.
How was your day, Brother Shawn?
Excellent. It was, I had an incredible day. I always like, taking your word. It was an incredible day.
Okay.
Yeah, man. How about yours?
My day was well. It finally snowed. Got some snow, and actually I was looking forward to snow, which is crazy, but I like the seasons, man. So the day is well, man. I'm actually excited about the topic we have today. I know, man, you've been talking about for weeks.
Yeah, right.
Matter of fact, some of our conversations always surround around this topic. But before we get started, everybody, again, thank you so very much for joining. But we're going to ask you all to mute your lines if you are not muted. Again, for questions, there were some very good questions. We had people sending us questions after the show was off. So please take down my email again. We're receiving questions via email, DarnellRamsey@hotmail.com. Please, we encourage you all to send as many questions as you want. We'll try to get around to each and every last one of them. But again, thank you all for you all's support. Thank you for some of the comments after the show. We really, really appreciate you all support. Thank you so very much, everyone.
Truly.
I guess we need to tell them what the show. I mean, some of the people who got the email, but I guess we need to tell them like the topic of the day or whatever.
Topic of the show?
Yeah, topic of the show. Yeah.
Needs versus wants.
Needs versus
Wants
wants.
versus needs. However you wanna put it. This is such a great one.
Yes.
Because it kind of goes with our first show ever that we had. I believe accountability. So I'm just excited that we're gonna delve into different topics under the umbrella of needs versus wants.
So yeah, that is powerful.
Yeah.
And I know I was talking to a friend, and she was like, I don't want to complicate, but she was like desires and needs the same. I was like, well, I think those words are interchangeable.
Right.
For this, if she's on, we're gonna just stick to needs versus wants. Because sometimes our desires are wants too.
That's true. Well, sometimes I think I would say sometimes our desires, depending on if they're healthy or not, or our needs. And maybe we could start. Yesterday was Martin Luther King Day. And this is I don't think it's an awkward place to start, but since it was Martin Luther King Day, I think sometimes if you have a desire that relates to your dream is your need. We needed Martin Luther King's dream. You know what I mean? That wasn't something like, he woke up like, I think I want to change the world. I kind of think I want. Hey, Coretta. You know what I mean?
You talking about Coretta?
Coretta, I think I want to go. I don't know.
You stupid, man. I think. Maybe I want to change the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like that intro, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I mean, you threw me off on that one, man.
Did I?
Yeah, man. Because I wasn't. You're right. I was powerful. I was
Yeah.
powerful. Like, yeah, he needed to change the world, but and better yet, dude. Sometimes that's the hard part, because sometimes your wants might be actually needs.
You want? Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Sometimes they can be your needs, and it may start off like you think you want, but this may need what you want. Because some people say, I want to change.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I want to change.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But in certain situations, you may need to change.
True.
You know what I mean? So again, we're gonna talk about that throughout the show today, about some of them differences. But go ahead and build on that when you talk about you got me curious about what made you throw that out there as to start off the show.
Well, I think that because since both of us have background in the helping profession.
Okay.
Like, a lot of people, like you said, have these dreams, but they're not actively pursuing them. You know what I'm saying? Like me, like what we're doing, this is a subcomponent of coaching, counseling, whatever you want to call it. But we need to be doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't something that just we kind of like, we need.
Right.
There's some people out there that like I need to hear what y'all doing.
I like what you're doing with this, Shawn. This is a conversation because you didn't prepare me for this. Sometimes I'm feeling this.
You feeling it?
Because we needed to do this. But this is something that we wanted. We've been talking for years, and these are the conversations that you and I have been having for years. But a want just turned into a need.
Exactly.
That's powerful, man.
Right.
Wow.
You might not even know that it's a need. It might, like you said, it might start out as a want, maybe even a hobby. I don't really have to do this. I don't really have to. No, You need to do
You
that.
need to do this, bro.
You need to do that. Think of how many people. I'm sorry.
Build on that, because I'm going back to, you dropped. I'm telling you, you took this car. I wasn't even ready. I got to sit back. Everybody, they get a chance to see me on YouTube. I'm baffled right now with how you taking this. But I'm going back to how you dropped the time about accountability, man. Right. Being accountable. Right. So how your wants and needs, accountability takes place in that.
Yes.
So you got me a little baffled today, young man. So I'm gonna sit back and let this marinate for a while before I start speaking on it. But I'm sorry for interrupting.
Nah, man, nah. You just spinning my mind even more, man. I guess what I'm saying, relating to anybody, no matter what level of life that you're at, no matter what walk of life you come from, like your dream needs to be your need, especially if it's a dream that can increase your quality of life and other people's quality of life. That's not something that you should just be passively, waking up like, I think, nah, that's your need. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to be, and then even, one of my supervisor during my, my job, we're going to a meeting soon, and we're going to be talking to these people about, why they're engaging in, it's something it's an unhealthy behavior. Okay. So maybe you can equate it to doing maybe drugs, right? And one of the things I found is that when you have a purpose in life, there's not really no space for unhealthy behavior. Like you need, I need to be doing this. I don't really want to do that no more because I need to be doing this. Wow. You know what I mean? And that's the power of having a purpose, of your dream. That's why you need to be doing that.
And that's crazy because I'm writing this book and finishing up on this book. But one of the things that you used to always say is, Darnell, you need to put this out. And I'm like, maybe I don't know if I want to. Ooh. You understand? So we used to go back and forth on that for a while. Like, Darnell, you need to write a book. Right. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to. So we battled on wants versus needs. Right. But as I'm getting closer to the finish line, I'm like, this is so needed. It was like a relief to me. Like to your point, I didn't even know that sometimes you don't even know that it's a need. That's because I'm like, I want to do this. You know what I mean? But as I'm finishing up, like, wow, this is powerful. This is what the world needs, and I'm not trying to be too overconfident. No, I'm like, as I'm finishing up these chapters, I'm like, wow, this is a book that's going, I think should take off and should really, I think the world needs. You know what I mean?
I agree with you,
especially black men. I think they need it. So I'm looking for that's interesting how your wants could turn into your needs, and sometimes because when we talk about wants versus needs, we mostly think about. Some of us want material, right? You know what I mean? We might want a better car, we might want a better job, but when you talk about personal development, right? You know what I mean? That's something that you need to do. That do you really have a choice? And to your point, if you have some behaviors that are detrimental to your growth, exactly. Is it an option that you want to change or you need to change? That's what exactly.
Ain't that deep?
Yeah, ain't that deep? That's what I think. It got a little bit hot in here, man. Like you dropped some science on me. I know we talk about this, and we got some agenda written down, but I love the fact that you always open to drop a bomb, and it's just I'm just letting this thing marinate. Yes. And I'm really we talk, but I'm really reflecting on myself. Exactly. Sometimes when you talk about that subject, and this kind of general wants versus needs. But you really do it when you're doing some self-development or going through the process of personal growth. You know what I mean? Because God going to stretch you. You understand? Because God knows what you need. But you like, I'm not willing to put forth the work, God. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? But that's the thing is sometimes that and a lot of times people say, I didn't read this book a couple months ago, but a lot of times that what you need to do is not necessarily what you want to do. Yeah.
Shoot, more times than not.
Yeah,
more times than not.
Yeah,
keep expanding on that.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like on personal growth. You understand whether it's discipline, even just kids going to school. You know what I mean? You might not want to do your homework, but you need to do it. You understand? Or you might not want to study, but in order for you to get the best grade possible, you need to do that. When you get out of life and you want to be, you want to be a productive citizen in society, you might not want to go off to school, whether it's trade, college, military, what have you. But that's what you may need to do in order to put yourself. So when you talk about personal growth, that's about holding yourself accountable. Going back to your point, but also doing things that are not comfortable.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that need might require a little bit of self-discipline, and we all lack that sometimes at times.
You know, man. As we throw back this need versus want word, you know, I love some of the quotes that Gandhi has, but you know, I've said it in the past, and it takes nothing away from what Gandhi has contributed to the world. But I always believe that he jumped the gun just a little bit with one word in one of the most famous quotes that we have: "Be the change that you want to see." I think that we need to change that to be the change that you need to see, or need to be. Excuse me. The initial quote was "Be the change that you want to see." Yeah, I think it should be the change that you need to see.
And expand on that, because I know that's one of your favorites. You always say that a lot of times.
Remember, when I first started rapping to you, I used to always say, "Hey, be the change that you want to see."
Right.
But as I started reflecting on it, I'm like, wait. In order for you to get what you want, there's some things that you need to do first. You know what I'm saying? So even though I agree with the crux of what he was trying to say, like if you want to become a millionaire, then there's some things that you're going to need to do first. And I just think that I think that we should amend what Gandhi has said.
And then hopefully, I guess after people watch this, you know what I mean?
Right.
Rest in peace, Gandhi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We get serious, man. It's a rest in peace, Gandhi.
Hey, shout outs to him, man. He was
even God for a minute.
Oh gosh.
But but all due respect, but that's interesting. That again, we coming back to this self-development piece about your needs and your wants.
Right.
You understand? Like the wants feel good too.
Yeah.
Needs don't necessarily feel good. That's going back to power and know. Like
yeah.
You know, maybe that want what you want. Where sometimes it makes us feel good. But when you say, man, hey man, I gotta study.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
I need to fast.
Right.
You know what I mean, I need to train.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every day I go to the goddamn weight room, I hate it. You know what I mean? But I need to, because that's part of being physically healthy.
You know why though?
Why?
Well, you know why? I think I say this in my second book, because whenever you do what's bad for you, it feels good. And when you do what's good for you, it feels bad. But the trick is to do more of what is good for you, because that feels great. And what I mean by that, like eating bad food. It's bad for you, but it feels good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's bad for you. When you eat healthy food, like, man, dang, I don't like this. But when you do more of what's good for you over the course of time, that's great.
That's a good example. And because I'm Reese's Pieces, man. The Reese's cups.
I love Reese's too.
I crushed them. I was speaking, giving my own little personal story, but this month, the month of January, I decided not to eat any sweets. You know what I mean? Just no junk food, pretty much. No beverages. No junk foods. And before, I think it was December 31st, man, I put down like 8 Reese's Pieces. Reese's cups. I crushed like 8 of them. I wasn't studying. But you couldn't tell me that wasn't the best thing that ever happened to me. You know what I mean? 8 of them. But I'm like, but I needed to cut the sweets out.
Right.
Because packed a few pounds on. Right. And I'm getting off your square. But dang, that Reese's, when I go past the Reese's, I'm fiending. You understand? I gotta have it. So that thing that tastes good, right, might not necessarily what's best, or might not what you need is what you want. But something as simple in the way God designed His life, something that's so simple can be so profound. Right. You know what I mean? Just working on your wants and needs will build self-discipline. Will help you with accountability. Yeah. Help you with responsibility. So that wants and needs. And I know one of the first things we talked about, as far as and some of my friends, should we talk about it, because we the relationship guys, but when we talk about in regards to relationships. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we didn't even male, female. We talking about son and child. Right. You know what I mean? From you being an educator, you being in the field, working in the community. Me myself being an educator. You look at some of our kids' recent academic performance in the school, and you're looking at some of on both sides where the parents may not want to check their kids' homework. Right. You understand? They might not want to go up to the school and make sure their kids are doing well in school, or checking with the teachers. But this is something that is needed from them. Exactly. I mean, you might not want to do that. You might have to take off from work to go up to the school and check on your kid's school, and how that would be beneficial to your kid. So again, those wants and needs requires some type of discipline. But it's, like as you mentioned before, it spills over in other facets of life. And then on a young person's part, nobody want to do homework. Nobody want to go to school. And, they don't want to conduct themselves in the good behavior that they supposed to conduct, how they supposed to conduct themselves in school. They want to act out. But in order for you to stay focused on your grades, you may need to be quiet, pay more attention to the teacher.
All this too comes at a cost. Because I always like to say, if you don't want to pay the price of success, then don't desire the life of success. You know what I'm saying? And that goes to what you're saying right now, because your wants can be so costly. You want all this stuff, whether it be the baddest chick or the the flyest dude. That may not be who you need. It can come at a cost.
It can, or it usually does.
it will.
It will. That's okay.
It will come at a cost.
It will come at a cost. And sometimes the cost we ain't willing to pay.
Sometimes we don't even know the cost.
Yeah.
That price tag is like, how much is this? And even when you see the price, like the price, you're like, nah, it ain't that price.
Yeah. Obvious. Obvious. You're like, nah, it can't be.
Yeah.
But we look at, you elaborate on sometimes, we want to be LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, or we want to be Bill Gates. But we ain't necessarily gonna put in the necessary work, the needed work, to be that.
Right.
But we all, like you said, we all want to be the boss, but we don't want to pay the cost to do that.
You know what's deep about that, man, is that there is so much space on this earth for greatness. There is so much. I mean, you think there's 7 billion people, man, and you can say that the world's overpopulated or what, but there is so. Think about basketball. I don't know how many players there are, but I don't care if you're the worst player. You are at the greatest level that's one sport. There are tons of sports. On top of that, there's other fields, medicine, social work. You got people who are the greatest science. Like, there are people who are the greatest at what they do. And there's plenty of room for everybody to be great. But to your point, people don't want to put in the work and do what they need to do to be great.
I don't want to, man.
You don't want to be great.
Yeah. I mean, no, you really don't want to be great. You just, and because again, as you so profoundly put it, that there's going to be some pain. I mean, some discipline that you're going to have to put forth to get to that point. A lot of us ain't willing to put through that one. We just want something. We don't necessarily need it.
Right.
That's the difference. When you say you need, there's going to be some change.
Some loss.
Yeah, there's going to be some loss too. There's some loss of self. You know what I mean? Because that's where, again, you got to put on that discipline hat. And a lot of us ain't willing to put in that discipline.
Right. I guess you talk about relationships, man. One of the notes that we have here is, and I think this is getting a little more into the media aspects of relationships, is looks versus qualities. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can you elaborate on a little bit how wants and needs contribute to looks versus qualities in the relationship, in an intimate relationship, husband boyfriend, or it's husband boyfriend, husband wife, boyfriend girlfriend. Major slip, man.
Yeah, I had a light bulb on my head like, oh, Shawn. You talking about Larry a little bit, bro? I'm like, bro.
Yeah, I know you can Larry. Hey, no disrespect, man. This ain't that show, man.
I said, bro, I don't know when we'll commercial break. We don't even have commercial. We don't even have commercial break. That's going to say, go to a commercial break, bro. Go bucket.
Go to commercial.
Pause.
Yeah, super pause, man.
But that's interesting because life is about relationships. I mean, that's the whole thing about life. But we live in a society where, again, we want things. But relationships is also about things that you need. God put us on this earth to pair up. Right. So when you talk about wants versus needs, the average guy wants somebody who look like Holly Berry or Beyonce. Right. I mean, that's what you want, but that might not be what you need. Right. You understand? So there's certain because relationships are supposed to complement each other, so to speak. So is that beauty? Well, really, if you're a person that has great ideas, but you don't necessarily have execution. You understand? In a relationship, what are you looking for? You're looking for somebody who possesses the qualities that really don't add on to what you you need,
Right.
or you looking for something that looks good, or something that you want that's superficial to the society at large. So again, somebody again who has very good ideas, but they don't necessarily have the wherewithal to execute that plan. So in that particular relationship, you might need somebody who's a little bit more detail oriented, a little bit like a more of not necessarily a go-getter, but somebody an executor.
Usher said, man, I like Usher, and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna get on him a little bit, you know what I'm saying, because I don't I know it's entertainment, but I don't like the energy in his newest song.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called. I should have done a little research, but it's about I think it's one of the lines is like I don't mind, you know what I'm saying, like something about how he don't mind when his women go and do X, Y, and Z. No disrespect to anybody who makes their money any type of way, but he was saying like, I don't mind if you go to the strip club and do what you do, as long as you come home to me. That's how you make your money, cool, that's fine. But going back, remember he had the song, I Need a Girl? I Need a Girl. Like Shawn, I need a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need a woman. I don't need a girl. You have Tony Gaskins who always say like there's a difference between a grown girl and a woman, or a grown boy and a man. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like you said, saying earlier, we trick ourselves into making our wants. Or I need a light skinned chick who's you know what I'm saying, 36 and all this. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, that's what you need?
Yeah.
But she can't spell the word graph. You know what I'm saying? She don't know what 6 minus 7 is.
Right.
She thinks 6 minus 7 is 2.
Right. But wants and needs is very interesting. You know what I mean? Like how many times, a lot of times we don't necessarily talk about these things.
Right.
We go after our wants, and then you have your friends, or your circle to encourage you to go after these wants. How many times, because needs needs really require some time to sit down and reflect. You understand? Like, needs gonna require you.
If you all could put your phones on mute, please. Please put your phones on mute.
First, get some water. Whoever that is, I'm hoping please get some water and take care of that. Then on your way back, you make sure you're all right. Thank you. I hope that you got some water to quench your thirst.
It's flu season. Make sure you keep yourself warm.
But that's true that we don't necessarily talk about. Even in that, like your friends will say, man, what you lacking in your personal development?
What you lacking?
Yeah. So I'll be telling you the conversation. So when you talk to your friends, they mostly talk about some superficial stuff.
Right.
Or women and guys are talking about relationships.
Right.
They mostly talking about how cute that person is or whatever. How many times people say, girl, where do you fall short? Do you think that your man should compliment you in that? You need to go find somebody to compliment you in that, or you say,
that's so
girl,
true, bro.
I want somebody who can dress well. You know what I mean? I want somebody who is groomed well,
Yeah.
but people don't say, hold up. You know what I mean? I know that you're having troubles in this area. You know what I mean? Do you think about your mate should compliment you in that area?
You want to listen to the other girl, but you need to be listening to her. Conversationally, you know what I'm saying? Like your boys, you know what I'm saying? Again, we're not knocking nobody. I really don't want anybody to think that we're knocking anybody.
Yes.
But we do want to hold do want to hold ourselves accountable. You know what I'm saying? I get on hip hop a lot. I get on myself a lot. So just like I'm getting on other people, I get on myself. You know what I'm saying? But like, do you really need to be around the clique you're around? Do you really need to be around the creep? Really, and for our older audience listeners, do you really need that job that you have? Employment.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
And to speak on this, that's a great transition.
Just more transition?
Yeah, we can try because that's one of the topics we wanted to talk about.
Right.
And again, as we talk, I think we have some questions coming up. We'll start addressing some questions. Please, if you have anything to add on to this topic, you email me at DarnellRamsey.com. But Shawn, to that point, we talk about employment. When you say that you really need the job, because half the time you hear how people are so miserable.
Right.
You know what I mean? How so angry they are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they say they need a job. Do you really need that, or do you want it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Or better yet, there's you might be comfortable with that because we all need a job.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not telling anybody.
Most of us do.
Yeah.
Some of us don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to get to the point. That's one of the first lessons you had taught me. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever, oh man, this is great. One of the first lessons I remember that had stayed with me whenever I was younger, whenever you said, your job deal with you differently whenever they know you don't need them.
And I took that off a guy I met in Maryland years ago when I was working in Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
What was the key word? Your job deals with you differently.
Differently.
When they know you don't need them. They go bother the next guy or the next person. Right.
Yeah.
So at what cost? Some of our employment opportunities or whatever. You bringing that anger home to your child, to your spouse, and you ask yourself, do you need that stress in your life?
Right.
But again, if you want to change that job, you might have to go out and get some education. You might need to go out and get a certification, or you may need to go get some skills in order for you to get another job. So again, you might not want to do that. You might not want to do that.
I think this is a good place for us to maybe debate a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because I respectfully disagree in a sense. Because education, both of us have master's degrees, and I would not ever denigrate education. I'm a big fan of education. Go to school and achieve the highest of accolades if you can. But I truly believe that on a certain level, education is more, and degrees are more of a 90s thing. Like, do you really, do kids today really need an education, or is it that they want it based off of what they past generation needed? You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many, especially as entrepreneurs, you can make, a good education can make you a living, but a great business can make you a fortune.
True. But, okay, we're talking about, because education, even when you get a business, you're being educated.
Right, exactly.
In that particular industry. Question real quick coming up. From a young gentleman from Damari from Pittsburgh, says, can needs and wants be the same thing?
I think that we had talked about that earlier. You know what I'm saying? I think that you said it, sometimes unconsciously, you think you think that thing that you want, I want that new BMW. I need to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even on the unconscious, sometimes we make the unconscious become the conscious.
I think that's an interesting question. I don't think it can be. I think that you can like, to your point, you can make them the both the same thing. But on the contrary, you may want an education. You know what I mean? You may want a promotion. I don't know if you need a promotion. That's a bad example, but you may want an education. You might want to go to trade school because you want to get a better job, or you don't want to assume student loans. So you may need to go off to trade school or go to school, or go after an education. So I would say the needs and wants. Which is might be a poor example, but I'm trying to figure out, that'll be a situation where there's some things that you may need to do or want to do, and that falls in line together. If you want a career, if you want a career, you're gonna need to do whatever you need to get into that career.
Right, exactly.
So that's gonna be a wants and needs scenario, which you have in both.
Yeah, I mean, not to stay on that question too much, but I think that building off of what he's asking and what you're saying, I think it would be a better situation if your needs become your wants, and not instead of your wants become your needs.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right, we have Nicole from Virginia. Wow, we got a Virginia person online.
VA.
Okay, it says, are you saying we supposed to deprive ourselves of nice things? I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
We're not saying that.
No, I mean, and things at a cost. You know what I mean, if you can't, Sister Nicole, if you can't necessarily afford something, we see that in certain areas, or even out in these so-called suburbs, you have these people living in these multi-million-dollar homes.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's nice, but they can't necessarily afford that.
Right.
So that's something that you want, and then you can go out and get a nice home, because we all need a place to lay our head.
Right.
But sometimes these nicer things get us in trouble.
Right.
And causes stress more than we should have, because nice things we live in a very materialistic society, and it might put us in a situation where it's not very beneficial to us over the long haul.
And I think that also goes to your point that you do a lot of finance coaching. with people, you know, to help them get their financial situation, you know, improved and increased.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that you probably find a lot of times that when you do that, when you do people's budget with them, you see things like, wow, do you really need this or do you want this? Because your wants make inroads into your finances, as we all know.
And that's another topic that's interesting, because that's where sometimes we get ourselves in trouble.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially in the area of finance. A lot of times, you know, when you talk about money, money, you know, going to, you know, something as simple as I want to go to school out of state versus school in state.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, even with that situation where you know, it's glad you're going off to school, but because of financial situation, you might cause yourself $10,000 to $15,000 more by going out of state versus going to this, you know, going for the same major in state.
And that's why it's important. It's important that you need to do your homework even before you start doing your homework. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and again, when I'm finding out, you know, just matriculating through my own adulthood, and I was having this conversation with my dad last night, and you know, both my mother and father have been excellent parents. And I think sometimes in certain communities, we so excited that we have our kids in college that we don't do the homework before to get them in maybe in some better majors.
You may need to do some research.
Yeah, you may need to do some research on.
I want my kid to go off to school, but I may need to do a little bit of research to make sure they're making an educated decision.
Right.
Yeah. And again, coming back to those finances, and that causes a lot of, you know, issues, because people, you know, that's where, you know, the gray area, you know, people cross their line like, you know, I need this car. You know, you want that car. You know, I was, you know, talking to, you know, a lady earlier this week about, you know, she needed a car. But did you know, do you want to go get a Toyota, or do you want to go get a, you know, a car that doesn't have a nice, you know, maintenance history? You know, yeah, you need a car, but make a wise decision, so that way you won't cripple yourself when it comes to, you know, later on down the line, when, you know, you're putting all this money. But again, when you're talking about those finances, you know, a lot of times that's where the gray area, and when people get a little bit of trouble with the, you know, with the needs and the wants, because sometimes, you know, you get a credit card, that's not yours. You know what I mean? So that money, you know, we was teaching some kids this weekend at a mentoring workshop at the church about, you know, the difference about, you know, using credit cards. And sometimes our credit cards will make your wants, you know, expand. You know, the price tag on your wants expand when you got that credit card. Right. Understand? But is that, you know, is that something that you need, or is that something that you want? So that sometimes our finances get us in a lot of trouble because our wants take over. You know, in the area of money. We got another question. We have young lady out of Philadelphia. I'm not even pronounce her name, but anyway, it says, how do I get my kids to understand or differentiate between a need and a want?
Great question. Great question.
I was thinking through our conversation like we're having right now. I mean, conversation, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, because sometimes you challenge a kid, like, why do you want that? You know, let them explain it. You know, because sometimes it's best for us to hear, you know, our logic behind our thinking, and sometimes it answers itself. So, you know, when you talk, you know, sister, when you're talking to your son or daughter, whatever it is, when they say, you know, Mom, I need a pair of Air Jordans, you know, ask them, you know, and you know, it could be a fun assignment between son and daughter, son and mom, or daughter and parent. You know, ask them, let's take out a sheet of paper and let's put a column, you know, down the middle, wants versus needs, and let's ask them, why do you think you need this? Okay. Let them explain it. Okay. And then really you just turn it around for them to look at it. Right. And then it pretty much have them buy into their own decision. I mean, you know, I don't know why you would need a pair. You know, you do need a pair of shoes because you can't walk barefoot. This ain't the Flintstones. You know what I mean? You do need some shoes, but do you need a $200? So the kid might have a point that I need some shoes, Mom and Dad, but do you need the Jordans, or do you need a nice pair of shoes that you know, prevents you from walking on the ground?
Hey, off topic, man. This new generation, bro, I wouldn't be surprised if you seen some Jordans with no soles on them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even trying to make a good point, right?
See how Tom does it? Hit the pause button like.
They'll wear anything, man. They'll wear anything. But to build off what you're saying right now, a lot of times, especially with kids, and people in general, our needs are based off of other people's wants. You know what I'm saying? So we feel like we need the Jordan because everybody else wants them. You know what I'm saying? But I think that as parents, you know, you gotta be consistent. You gotta not only have these conversations with them, but also be the example. So when you're out at the grocery store, when you're out shopping, maybe you only get 2 things that you really want, but the majority you get what you need. And I know for myself, over the course of time, when I became older, my dad was like, nope, no more money. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? It went from me wanting all that fly stuff, like, you know, I think I like shopping at TJ Maxx.
Right.
I think I like shopping at Marshalls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it clicked in like, man, I remember my mom and dad, they was always smart spenders. You know what I'm saying? And it really, so really you buying in, it's like a bank. You know what I'm saying? It's like an investment. You buying in for the future.
And that's powerful. Coming back to these are educational.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, you just said, and this is the crazy. This is quality time with your kids.
Right.
Or this is quality time with your loved ones.
Right.
So you know, something as simple as going through the supermarket, because you gotta get people. You gotta get some wants. We're not saying you don't deprive yourself of your wants, man. Come on, you know, listeners, please. That's not what we're saying at all. You know what I mean? We just, you know, we were hoping this to get people to realize that there's a difference between the two. But that's a very good point. When you taking your kids to the supermarket, go get some Snickers and some candy.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? That's what you want. But also, as you say, you know, later on in the conversation, we can go pick up some bread, some milk, some eggs, because these are the necessities in your house.
Right.
You know what I mean? These are the things that you need in your house. So you're educating them on something as simple as that, but you're talking to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they get the chance to see, because you can't deprive people what they want, man. You can't. You know, that's a middle, like, because everybody don't want to work all hard all your life, man, without plan. That's imbalance. You know what I mean? So this needs and wants thing is, you know, you got to have some balance there. I think that the needs and the pendulum matriculate to where your needs are more than your wants, or you put a little bit more emphasis on your needs versus your wants. But don't, audience, please, you have to enjoy this thing called life. You got to make sure you do some wants. You know, sometimes you want to do some wrong. Sometimes you may need to do some wrong. You understand? But you know, overall, the majority of life, there's 365 days in a year. I would think the majority of over 200, 250 days, you need to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. But you got to have some balance. You know, some people going crazy. And all the things, they just focus on work and focus on seriousness. There's no balance in that.
Even when you need to, I'm with you, man. You need to have fun. But even when you having fun, I mean, there's still some intelligence to go along with that. And I remember
all the time.
I was out at I remember this was like a year and a half ago, man. I'm out at the liquor store. I'm buying, not buying whatever I was buying. This dude buys a bottle of Ciroc. I think the top bottle of Ciroc is like what, $70, $80. I wouldn't know because I don't drink Ciroc. I seen the same dude at the gas station and he put $6 in his gas tank. Come on, man. Come on, man. You bought an $80 bottle of Ciroc and put $6 in the gas tank, man. Like, you know.
And how many times you go to, you know, the club or whatever, and Cass is buying a $30 bottle for like $200.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But you driving, I'm looking at what you driving.
Right.
Or look where you living.
Right.
You understand? And you don't even own your own home, but you in a bar, you in a weekend, you know, out in the community, out in community bar, popping bottles. You know, and that's the difference between wants and needs, bro. We got a question from Sister J. And Merlin says, what role does gratitude play in differentiation between your needs and your wants? Gratitude.
What role does gratitude play? Differentiating between
gratitude,
needs and your wants. That causes a little bit of reflection before you answer that one.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Be a little bit more appreciative and show. Gratitude. Gratitude. I can't wait. In a minute, we're gonna start taking some calls next few weeks. But I would like to even get her perspective to build on that a little bit more on that. But because sometimes, again, coming back to sometimes you earn certain things. You understand? Like sometimes you put in the work. For instance, finishing up a huge project. That you've been working on a paper that you've been doing for like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You know, maybe what about the end of your fast where you put in, you know, a 90-day fast or whatever, you put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you don't deserve no reward, you know, you don't take no time to reflect on that or, you know, really take pride in that.
Right. You should.
I think so.
You should.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Gratitude.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my mind. Maybe if this sister can maybe send us another or maybe an extended question, maybe let us know a little bit more about the question. But I think that you definitely you know, I can see the appreciation factor in, you know, in relationship to the needs versus want. But I don't really think that I can respond to this fully because I don't think I have a full response for it.
And we'll come back to that, you know, Sis, can you know, give us a little bit more, because that's a good question of gratitude, and that's why I would love to hear, you know, a little bit more on that.
Yeah, just a little more. Yeah, just a little more. Just expand on the question.
Yes. We have another question just came in from Sister Dab from the Berg. It says, do you think we settle when we don't get what we want? Wow. Do you think we settle when we don't get what we want? Or is that considered having a high standard? Ooh.
Well, I would love to answer that one.
Please. Go ahead on and say, do we settle
right
when we don't get what we want?
Right. There's many, actually, I want to say answer. I want to respond to that question.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it all depends in the person because it's a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like 50 Cent said, I'm going to get rich or die trying. And I'm gonna go back to to what we said initially, like about the MLK. Like that was you. What was he willing to settle for? That was his dream. Like he was going to do that, and we see he died trying. Like me with my goals, I'm willing to die trying to do, or really, I'm willing to live and die trying to do what I'm trying to do. So I think it goes to the person as far as that settle part. Like if you choose to settle, then that's on you. And having high standards, who you compare your standards to? You know what I'm saying? Because again, I'm gonna go back and say, you know, a standard is a standard. So many people today have no standards that you just have as standards.
Right.
It's
extremely high standard. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And that's interesting that you make that point because I think that we set our own standards.
Right.
You know what I mean? So furthermore, who's the artist who's saying that you have high standards,
Exactly.
and what are their standards
Exactly.
in order for your standards to be considered high?
Exactly.
You know, to your point, in society nowadays, we don't have no standard.
None.
So you just saying, I have one standard, or you asking too much. You understand? You asking too much. So that's, you know, it's all individual based, but you know that high standards thing. You know, I've been accused of that throughout life, and it's like, you know, look, check the messenger. Who's the messenger who's saying these standards are high?
Right.
But that thing settled. You know, if you know, we talk about sometimes your wants is your needs, so you should never settle on that,
Right.
Because somebody might try to block, you know, you from getting to your need. This is something that you want and you know you rightfully deserve.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Because you know, as coming back to the gentleman who said a question earlier, we talk about your wants and needs can be the same thing. I mean, or not saying a want is a bad thing.
Yeah.
You may want to get education. You may want a life need.
Right.
You might want that.
Right.
Even though I think you need both of those.
Right.
But should you settle for that? So Martin had said, nah, bro, they ain't gonna give us our voting rights, man. I tried.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he ain't settled for that. Like you say, like he had a dream, he had a vision of where he wanted to take his people to and where he wanted to be.
Right.
Should he settle for that? Heck no.
Nobody great. Nobody great. And when I say great, I don't mean these you know, I don't mean these high accoladed people with ascribe, you know, with all these you know, attributes beyond what the normal person has. You know what I'm saying? Like when I say great, I'm talking about people. Like I think a great person is somebody who is on the road to success, just chipping away, regardless of their bank account, of all of that. You know what I'm saying? That's a great person to me. And that person is relentless. There's no way that you can. Is that person willing to stop for anybody or anything?
You talking about me, man?
No, I'm talking about us.
Okay. But sometimes you have to have this man in the lights before you consider great. I'm sorry.
Right.
I mean, you just struck a nerve when you was talking about that. That sounds like me, bro.
Good.
Yeah, good. But yeah, right. And there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there who won't settle.
We won't settle.
You know what I mean? Who are great. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
they ain't lights on TV, but they're great. So, you know, sis, no, never settle. And again, we would say, whose standards? Check the person who says standards and check and see what their standards is. Because sometimes we quick to look at somebody else's without revealing ours.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like, let me see your standard book.
Right.
Let me see your, matter of fact, let me see your history.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you might have just wrote that after you heard mine. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I got to see your history.
What you got?
Right. Yeah. That almost look exactly like mine. You know what I mean? But I put how, now you put how mine, so we're different. But last question. It says, wow, this is sister out of Florida. Remind me a couple weeks ago, we started to reach people, Shawn. It's good.
Right.
Sheila, she says, what do I do when my mate needs sex, but I don't want it as much? Oh, Jordan, this is we got some children on the phone. I don't know what you're gonna ask. Hold up, Sister Sheila said, what do I do when my mate needs sex? Woo! But I don't want it as much.
I'm kind of glad she.
I'm gonna let you start off here like, yeah, that's and she threw the needs and the wants. Thank you for using that words in that sis, but we make needs sex?
Needs.
But yeah, sex, yeah, we as men, let's be real. Yeah. We as men, we need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's, you know, that prevents us.
Women don't need it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a man, so I think they do. I can safely say I think they do.
I think they do too.
Well, she said I don't want it, but that's a deeper question because why don't you want it? You know what I mean? And when she say mate, I don't know if that's husband or if that's living partner or if that's boyfriend, whatever that is. So that's deep because God says, when you talk about getting married, you hear that all the time. Friends or whatever, when we have these conversations off record, we ain't got this conversation on here, but you hear about men saying that their wife or their partner is not, giving them any sex, and we know the outcome to that. A lot of times, guys start looking outside the home. So, Sister Sheila, this is just real talk. This is good conversation with your brothers, but it's also real talk with real brothers as well, in which sometimes I'm just keep it real with you, is that when you talk about you don't want sex. I mean, I'm hoping you're having a conversation. Maybe you're not feeling well.
Exactly.
Now, man, you have every bit communicate that to him.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling well, but when you saying he needs it and you decide not to. After a while, there might be some problems. I mean, there's other alternatives. We ain't gonna get into that, but I think that we as men, we are very sexual, and wow, Sheila, we are very sexual, so we expect that. But that's where the communication comes in, because we got to be open. Like sometimes you don't want to, you don't want to. And I understand that, but when you're talking about I don't want it, there needs to be a discussion.
Right.
And that's crazy. I was just having this conversation with a friend. We was talking about how she was at a party and they were talking. They threw this discussion out. This lady was saying that the sex, of course, the sexual situations were causing problems, will cause a breakup. But she was saying that this brother told his sis, they wasn't married though, but this brother, it was in a relationship, and this brother told his sis, you don't do it for me. Yeah. And she took it like a truth, like, okay, I don't know what continued on, but like, wow, how many people had that type of conversation? You know what I mean? Going back to somebody saying like, now you don't do it for me, boo. So I'm gonna bail out on this.
Wow. Did you have more to say about that?
I'm thinking. I'm just going back to Sister Sheila. I'm saying communicate that because there might be some issues. He might not do it for you.
Yeah.
If y'all married, that might be a problem.
Right.
But she just used the general term mate. But these are the types of things you want to communicate because again, men, we are very sexual. We like we like sex. And as to Brother Shawn, y'all do too. Yeah. Those that are alive, y'all do too. But but we are more brutally honest.
We're hunters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I guess I agree with most things as you said. My personal opinion about I keep it straight. You know, I don't believe in cheating. I don't think that there's any reason to cheat. Now I do think that if you're in a relationship and you explain to your partner, to your husband, to your wife that you're gonna go and do something, I don't consider that cheating. I still don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't believe in going behind people's back and doing stuff. To me, that's cowardly if you can't communicate what it is.
I love disagreements. We don't have those too often.
Right.
You understand? I mean, I definitely agree to your point that the man should speak up or the female should speak up.
Right.
However, there are certain times when things speak up and nothing gets done.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I believe that if somebody's committed in saying that I'm gonna be with you and yada yada yada, and you deprive me of something that I need, being up front, I'm not a very sexual person. Then if you decide to go and do what you got to do, you call it cheating, whatever it's called, satisfaction. Because if I'm built up, I might do some things that are out, cheat, whatever, out of character. That's because I got this build up. I might shout, I might become verbally abusive. I might take that on my job, I might do whatever, because these are things that are natural that I need. So, sometimes as a man, we're going to go find it outside the home, preferably in the home. But, I agree with you, you got to get to the point to where you discuss it. But after you discuss it, and I don't know, I've been on this earth for some 40 plus years, I've heard some crazy things. But I thought that when you were in a relationship, you married, married, beautiful wife, and I would think that's a given. That if you married, that there should be some affection going on.
Yeah.
So I don't think that should be too much of a long, drawn out, fight out battle to discuss.
Right.
We got married. I think that can't be. I ain't talking about this every night,
right.
But I know people talking about they went months,
right.
A month. Brad, I gotta disagree with you on the cheating, Brad. You might be proud. You said we were 100, and you be 100. And I see it every time you step outside. Sometimes you see hundreds out there because there's some things that going on in the home.
I guess my response to that is still, even in that circumstance, there's, when it comes down to being in love, I just don't see any reason. And again, this is what I'm saying today. This is what I've been saying, for the past 6 years. I don't see any reason. Like if my wife decided, I want to have sex for a month. I'm gonna be frustrated, yeah. But it's going out and having sex with a woman, it's satisfying that need worth the risk of losing me being in love with my wife. This is one thing. She might be doing everything else right. Now I'm saying this, of course I'm gonna be frustrated, but when you in love, bro, I'm not cheating. I'm not risking the empire. But what I was going to say is that, again, to your point, it's the need for communication. Communication is the blood of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? The need to be open, but also the need to accept what you might not want to hear. There might be some things that you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what, maybe, and like in that case, if you ain't doing it, and I'm not talking about doing sex, I'm talking about maybe it might be something, it might have nothing to do with sex. It might have everything, it might have everything to do, you know what, you ain't really been taking out the trash, you really ain't been rubbing my back, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, that was it? That's something small, but you might not want to hear it. But if it is, you know what, you kind of gained a couple pounds, I'm really not into you physically. That's something that's going to hurt. But it need to be said.
But I love that conversation. I mean, a conversation we had a while ago about the situation. And I always tell people about that. It's not for the air. And I'm like, wow. Well, you talking about the lines of communication that you may have is not what the world may have. You know what I mean? And we don't have the answers for all the world.
What does that mean?
I mean, a line of communication, like you said, people are not brutally honest. Like somebody might say, "Damn, short, baby." Because when I go out to spots and I see guys chasing these, I'm like, wow, your woman don't look better than that. You know what I mean? But why ain't you saying, hey, baby, you can put a few pounds on, can you go to the gym? You know what I mean? Or, damn, how about you ain't put on a gear, you've been wearing a holy sweatpants, you starting to, you're turning me off. But we don't have these conversations because people get hurt. So that's why you start going out to the, to the outside of the union to do certain things. Teach on me, sometimes there is just blatant, some people shouldn't even be together. Let's talk about that. Sometimes people shouldn't even be together. They just for the sake of whether it's the kids or what have you. So that's why, do you still consider that cheating? No, but cheating. I guess you say cheating.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is my personal opinion. I just don't believe that I don't believe in cheating. I just don't. That's just my. Some people might say you're crazy, but I just don't. I don't believe in it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Whenever you're in love, I just think that there's always like why sacrifice the empire? Maybe that could be something that we talk about too.
Yeah.
But my response to that, as far as the communication piece, we're not saying necessarily be brutally honest, but I'm gonna bring up the therapist. There's something called the setup method, SET. All right. Remember this. I do this. People like you and I who like to be straightforward. We need to use this with people because they can't always take the truth. And the S is for support, the E is for empathy, and the T is for the truth. And you got to give them everything.
Yeah, right,
you know what I'm saying? You leading up to the truth. You know what I'm saying? If you only give them the support and the empathy with no truth, you're going to enable them. And if you give them the truth without support and empathy, they're going to feel like you're challenging them. So, example is that my wife come in the room and say, "Hey, baby, how you like this dress?" Now, my mind might be thinking, that dress is terrible.
Right.
It's horrible. You know what I'm saying? But I might say something like, "Baby, like, you know what? I love the fact that you're trying to look good for me. And I understand why you chose that dress because that's your favorite color. But that's not the one for you tonight."
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a basic example, but you know what I'm saying? I just think we find too many excuses to cheat. Like there's no reason that you can't find. Again, if they're not doing what they need to be doing, what I would do in that situation is I'm not gonna go to my marriage. We cutting ties.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't believe in cheating within a relationship.
That's probably a conversation we had about like 3 more minutes, and that's deep. We final any final words on the wants and needs, and I like the way to use that setup because we coming back to the communication. Even when you're talking about the wants and the needs, your child or your loved one might have a want, but you ain't got to tear them down for that one. You understand? Like we had just said, show some empathy. Give them, support them on that one. Right. But also then, when you get to the truth, let them know why you don't think that one. Right. That one is necessary, and why they should put more emphasis on whether or not they need it or not. Right. So once again, I think this was powerful. Powerful. Wants versus need, and some things I have to reflect on. But what do you have? Some of the things, with a couple of minutes left. What are some of the things that you want to add on to that?
One of the main things I wanted to add on is just don't get your wants don't get your wants met and leave your needs wanting. That's all I want. That's really the only thing I want to leave with you is don't get your wants met and leave your needs wanting. And I don't think I really need to elaborate on that too much. Because I think that our whole conversation was about how people continuously get their wants met and you leave your needs wanting. You know what I'm saying? Even sometimes how you may go, we. In the field we are, sometimes you go into somebody's home and, no disrespect to anybody, but you see that they have elaborate furniture and nothing in the fridge.
But that's where the set come in because you talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, and this conversation, this subject we talk about, it's really the essence of life. Because that's what we all going through. Like, what do we want? Like, and then mostly when you talk about what do God need from us.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry we talked about God later, it's almost at the end, but you really God gives us our needs. We have it mostly on the human side, it's the wants. Yeah. God provides your needs. Yeah. You understand? So I know we could have touched up on that a little bit more. That's just real talk about everything